types of jewelry. It's like so nice that you focus on jewelry. Like you get there's lots of noise out there on a lot of different things and people giving you advice, but if they aren't in this industry, it's just a different perspective. So I'm really excited about the feedback.
Amazing. I'm very excited to share with you. Some things, make sure to put it through your own filter, because no one knows your brand and your audience better than you do, and especially because you are so niche at the same time. And this is your power. We're going to try to embrace it and empower it as much as possible. But you have this authenticity that, I keep on telling this to my clients, that you have this power that big brands, hey Salome, that big brands don't have. You have that opportunity to speak to the public in person. And like Missama, Jewellery, I don't know, Swarovski, they don't have that. And they're losing at this. So, we want to make sure that whatever you do in the future, you put yourself out there, which you've already been doing so successfully, and just speak to the camera, speak to the audience, tell your stories, because they're so beautiful and worth sharing, every single one of them. Okay, so I think some more people are going to join in. I'm going to leave it for Salome to kind of let them in, and I think we can begin. Michelle.
Yes.
Tell us about you. Tell us about yourself and tell us about your brand, how it started, where it is, and where you want it to be.
Okay, so I'm Michelle Drake, and my husband Rich and I started Stonington Designs as really as a way to express our creativity. It didn't start with jewelry. It started with something called a trailer hitch cover. We knew we wanted to work in wood, and for me, I knew I needed flexibility. I left my professional career to care for my mother. And so I needed something when it was time to go back to work that would give me flexibility. My husband pitched the idea of the retirement business, which is, retirement and business don't really go together. It's just
the point of retirement is to just sit back, relax, and enjoy life.
So this has been, so we started Stonington Designs. It started with hitches, which is why under my name here, it says Hitchcrafter, because that's where it started, right? And so then I took a basket weaving class. So what I always say is, what happens when a woodworker takes a basket weaving class is this jewelry line. I came back to the wood shop and said, I know what I want to do with the remnant pieces that we have, the end cuts, the pieces that get thrown away. And I want to make something beautiful out of it, and I want to use this weaving technique. And so we started doing that. Once I started wholesaling as well as direct to consumer, I couldn't keep up with all of the weaving. I was doing the weaving. My husband was making all the wood components. And so I started a military spouse weaving program. So my son is an Air Force pilot, and I knew the struggles of those young families as they're, dedicating their and sacrificing their lives and their lifestyles. So I started this program to give the spouses of those that are serving our country the ability to have the same flexibility that I had, do something that they could do at home, teach them an artisan craft. And it has been everything for us. It has opened up the ability for me to just confidently go in and grow our business. So the jewelry is all different types of wood with bamboo woven over it. And our price point ranges from like $65 to, we've just launched rings, wood inlay rings, and those are $510. So our price point retail is not a luxury brand, but not a, I don't know how to say it.
A low price point.
Yeah, not a low price point. So we're in kind of this weird middle spot. but it's been a nice journey for us. We've learned so much, and we've tried to lean into what our story is, knowing that as we grow our business, we get to help more families, and we get to create pieces that become what I consider a modern heirloom, something that patinas over time and gets more beautiful over time and gets handed down through the family.
Amazing. And how long have you been running the business for?
So 5 years. So we started in 2021. We started in the middle of COVID, because that sounds like a great thing to do.
Amazing. And okay, so you started 5 years ago, and what marketing or brand building knowledge did you have? Because from what I understand, you come from a craftsmanship background, or not?
I'm an artist, yes. So
You're a
I
painter,
have
right?
yes, I have an art background. I'm a painter, and I also come from a background of corporate coaching and business. So my professional career, I coached like CEOs and CIOs and CFOs on how to communicate effectively to their teams, how to communicate their brands out to the world, which is, it's always easier to tell somebody how to do it than to do it yourself, so.
Well, everything is connecting so much, because I work with a lot of jewelry business owners one-on-one, and 99.9% of them are terrified of being in a camera. They don't feel comfortable, or they understand the importance of it, but the fear of being in front of the camera kind of takes over, and and all of that knowledge kind of gets into the background. So the fact that you actually coach people on doing that, it really reflects in your brand. And I invite everyone, we're gonna obviously open your Instagram account and go through the content that you create, and it's so visible, what you said. So I think a lot of people can learn from you this specific skill. Okay, and your husband is the person who is making the jewelry. Is that correct? Like
he's making the components. So each piece of jewelry has a wooden stave, and it has wooden end caps. And so he makes those wooden pieces. And then I was doing all of the hand weaving. And then that's what we turned over when we started doing the military spouse weaving program. So that program, they get a kit that has all the components in it and the patterns that I design. So I do all the design work. I do all the marketing work. I do like the business of the business and the design work now. They've kind of taken me out of production, which is great, because it's like the artist in me. It's not great, but I get to do design weaving versus 50 of these bracelets and that kind of weaving.
Okay, so you literally have an army of women helping you out, create everything.
Yes.
What about the marketing efforts, including photography? Well, you said you do the marketing, website design, because I was looking through your website, and there's some very smart decisions that were made in terms of the back end of it. And I was like, okay, they either really know what they're doing in that sense. It's all you.
Yep, I take all the pictures. I put all of our catalogs together. I do, like, when I say I do the marketing, like, I do it from soup to nuts, right? So the website design, now I've got someone who is putting products in for me as I go, but all the email, our emails, that all comes, I've started to put people in place to be able to do the tactical parts of it, but the creative part of it, I still hold.
Awesome. And what is the biggest struggle that you are encountering right now? Because that's a lot of hats to be wearing for one person.
Well, that's a real thing. But I find that the biggest struggle is conversion. Like, I don't know enough. I know enough from an artistic background. I know enough how to make it look pretty. Like, I understand light, and I understand those things, but like you said, I know how to show up authentically. Like, I know how to, like, sit in front of the camera and just say what I have to say. Like, I'm okay with that. But the website, the direct to consumer for the website is not converting. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out why. And that's, that's one thing. The other thing is from the wholesale perspective, I'm doing all the trade shows. I'm doing like the selling part of it, finding sales reps that are good and that will actually, be excited about the brand and actually do what they say they're going to do. Because I've had a lot of different sales reps, but it just, it's
tricky.
It is tricky because clearly no one's going to be as passionate about my business as I am. Like that's a given. However, they have to pull it out of the bag and show it. Right?
Exactly. Well,
So,
you mentioned so many interesting things, and I'm very happy to be covering them in the visual review. So maybe let's crack on. Feel free to interrupt me at any point if you have a question. I'm gonna share my screen right now so you can see everything. Okay, we're gonna share and we're gonna your website. So can you see everything okay? I might just minimize this one. Can you see the screen okay, Michelle? Okay, perfect. We're going to minimize everything that we don't need. Okay, fantastic. So from the very beginning, we enter your website. Now, what we're going to be looking at the most is the signals of trust, which is, in the end of the day, one of the most important things that a new client that comes to your website looks at. Okay, how long has this brand been going? Have other people purchased from them? Is it safe for me to purchase from here? And is it a real thing or is it a scam? Meaning, if I put my earned money into this page, is the product that I order actually comes through, right? Because of your social media content, you have built a very strong trust score. However, when it comes to the website, it's a little bit different. And let me tell you why. Following the general layout that is the most customer friendly, my recommendation would be to move this header above everything else. So we have the menu here, and before we have the handcrafted jewelry that tells your story, your tagline, we move your image with the logo type up. Now, my question is, do we need to have a logo here and a logo here? It's kind of like duplicating the information, and which might not be necessary. Maybe the better thing here would be to invite people to shop, and instead of placing the shop button here, saying new collection is out, or shop our bestsellers, or something more related to seasonality. For example, you attended the webinar that we had about the launches, and one of the most important tactics when it comes to launching products or seeding the collections in general throughout the year is keep updating your website for Valentine's Day, for Mother's Day, for Christmas, for Black Friday, for all of these events. The website needs to be optimized, and this header acts exactly as this, because if it doesn't change for the past 2, 3, 4 years, it kind of gives signals that it's not an active website for both Google and for the audience that's kind of keep on dipping the toes into here. And they're like, okay, well, they clearly don't 100%, update and refresh the website, because in order for them to understand this, they have to go to the shopping sections or scroll down.
So can I ask a question? Because one of the things that I had been contemplating doing is, instead of, so right now for me, that the photo on my header doesn't feel like it matches the story that we have evolved into leaning into and telling, right? The story about being made in the USA and being made by these women, and like that whole piece of it. And so one of the things I was thinking about doing was, instead of having one large banner at the top, that I put my different categories like shop buttons, but visual shop buttons. So it would be rings and bracelets and earring, like as like 3 or 4 different images there instead of the one big banner that would immediately engage someone into the shop on those. So that would be actual the click shop button and it would say that, but it would have the visual impact immediately, would focus on a more up close photo, and a photo that visually cued, like in with navy backgrounds, like it, that would cue the vibe of the story, whereas
Immediately.
the picture doesn't cue the vibe of the story, even though it's a pretty picture and shows the jewelry off. What
At the moment is definitely drifts, right? The image really resonates with the more natural and free-spirited kind of a look of the brand, and it's the same with the wave. You know, it kind of immediately makes associations in my head that, oh, okay, it's nature inspired, this ocean.
But it is those things, but right?
Exactly. But you know, the worlds are very different, the ones that you described. Are we focusing fully on you know, being a proud American and giving these opportunities to is it military wives?
Yes.
Is it a correct term?
Yes.
You know, focusing on that, or are we focusing on that natural-esque, you know, aesthetic? They can coexist together, but it's difficult to do that. So at this point, you really have to make a decision. Okay, what is the core of our identity, and then start, you know, moving through visual creation with it. And in terms of the header solution, I like how you're thinking. It's a creative way of doing things. So now, can I ask you to tell me 3 jewelry brands, well-known jewelry brands that you love?
Dune, that are in our price point. Dune and Renault, Dune Jewelry, Dune. What is there?
Okay, we have these guys, right?
I can't see your screen anymore.
Oh, you can't see my screen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, 1 second. Let me reshare quickly.
They use sand elements in their jewelry.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So this is June. Okay, and what was the other one?
And Ronaldo was Ronaldo Jewelry is another.
Ronaldo.
When I look, so there's a person in the space of military called R Riveter. They do bags. So they don't do jewelry. They do bags that are in that $300 price range. So the price point is the same. And I liked how they leaned into nature, but just the way they did it, they also are leaning into the military, you know, it's all their workforce is military spouses as well.
Definitely. Okay, so now let's analyze the structure of the websites. So for example, June, they, just like you, they have the menu up at the top and the important information even higher up. And then we follow up with one long header with a clear call to action, shop now, right?
Yeah.
And then we move to products. You know, it's very nice. They have a hover function, then a customization, you know, to celebrate the monthly something. Then we have the icons. They have a lot, you know, you scroll down through the page and they have a lot going on. Now, if we go to Ronaldo, it's exactly the same principle.
So the screen isn't sharing again. It's so weird.
Oh my God.
Is this happening with everybody, or is it just me? I don't know.
I think it might be.
Because it keeps popping it back to just all the people here.
Okay, I think, yeah, it keeps dropping off. Okay, I shared everything differently, so it should work okay now. Now, Ronaldo Jewelry has exactly the same structure. You have the important information, usually about shipping or last deals, we have the menu and the logo, and again, we have a big header that is taking a lot of space with some sort of a CTA, which is not ideal at this moment because it actually overlaps with some graphic things. But you know, this is the variation. And then again, we move to a certain collection, shop by category, you know, another CTA, something about their story, more about their story, Instagram feeds, and then the footer. So again, very, very simple, kind of to the book structure. And when we go to Riveter, it's exactly the same. And you might be thinking, well, I don't want to be exactly the same as everyone else, right? Because why would I? But
Right.
in reality, when you analyze all of the top performing brands out there, they do that for a reason. Because the companies that that make multi-million dollars every month, they analyze consumer behavior to the teeth, to the click, to the second of, you know, how are they navigating, where are they going, how are they moving, what makes them convert the most, what information should be there. Everything from the button shape and color and font types, the highest performing formula, it exists. And the best way to understand what it is to analyze your favorite websites and the top performing websites. Now, that is not to say that is the only formula to do, but in case you have not invested your own time and effort into analyzing your consumer behavior to the nanosecond of since they enter your website, it might be best to follow the structure that is already out there. Now, that is not to say that other structures don't work, for example, because we have PD Paula, one of my favorite brands that I always refer to. They decided to go to, like what you said, we have new features, we have rings, we have earrings, you know, spring collection. They went through the full magazine kind of a approach without any headers. They're just introducing what they're selling. Now, this is the very beginning. This is the first collection when they've ever done that. So I have a feeling that they're still in a full testing mode, you know? So in this case, when it comes to your website, I would recommend moving this. I don't really know if you 100% need it. Maybe it would be best to add it here and then add the CTA with an image that fully reflects you know, what Drift by Stonington Designs really stand for. And one of the most important things is that the first header image has the quality that doesn't make people go, oh, is my screen not loading? Or why is it blurry? You know what I mean? Because yes, it's very important to compress the image so the website loads fast. But in the end of the day, the perception of the brand when it comes to high quality or low quality content also matters more than anything else. So in this case, one of the first things that I would invite you to do is move the header up and also upload it again to have better quality. No pixelated images, no blurry images, no low quality images. Okay, then we're moving to new collections. Also, I wanted to ask, is this website custom made or is it done on Shopify?
It's Shopify.
Okay.
So we have so I have like the template has limits. It doesn't always do everything I want it to do.
Oh, I mean, it's the case with every single thing.
Yeah.
It's always like this. We're currently rebuilding our website and it's driving me crazy. Okay, so new collections. We have 2 images, collection number 1. And we also have a tungsten and wood rings collection. We then move to sustainably made, militarily strong, American proud. And then we have information about sustainability, support, and how it's made, and the Instagram plugin. Now, what we don't see from the get-go is what I want to buy. Because for me, in order to go, for example, I'm looking for a bracelet. I've heard about you, or I wanted up to your website. And I enter here. And if I scrolled for 1 second down, there is nowhere I can buy an actual bracelet. You know, for me to do that, I need to go to shop, So this is one decision.
Mhm.
Decision number one, okay, I need to find amongst all of here, the jewelry types section. Then we have 3 types of bracelets. Now, I don't know if I want a bangle, clasp, or cuff, but in order for me to view all of the bracelets, I'm pretty sure I need to go to one page, then go back, or go here again, then go to clasp bracelets, right?
Mhm.
And then go to cuff bracelets. This is so much activity. Well, in theory, it's not, right? But for a consumer that does that multiple times a day, that is a lot of steps just to find a bracelet.
That's why I was thinking that that the lead at the top with the photos, it would have a page that was like one of the photos would be a photo with a close-up of all the different types of bracelets, and it would just be bracelets, rings.
Exactly.
So it would take all that.
Exactly. Still, for the header, I do recommend going for something general that introduces your brand in one sentence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, handcrafted jewelry that's, I don't know, created by military wives. Like whatever your elevator pitch is, this is the place for it. And then you scroll down, and this is where you put bracelets, earrings,
Mm-hmm.
rings, collections, right?
Yeah. No, I agree.
This would be
completely.
the best thing. So I just have it written down. And coming back to PD Paola, actually, it's very interesting because they grew, and I had a coffee with a guy who built their website and helped them convert to Shopify the other week. They went from a tiny Spanish label maybe 7 years ago to a company with 50 plus million dollar revenue per year just by treating their website not as a standard like go-to shop, but by actually, you know, making it visually interesting, making people stick and stay with them. Now, another thing that I don't know how noticeable it is for anyone else, but it really does affect your SEO in the long run. Here we have Stonington Designs. Then we have Drift by Stonington Designs. And as we move through the page, it kind of changes. You know, it shifts and changes, and in some places it's this, and other places it's that. Now, what Google does, it really recognizes consistency. Because at the moment, it looks like you have 2 brands, well, for search engines, not for rational human beings, right? It looks like you have 2 different business names, and which one is the real one, which one is the main one, what is happening. So if you can concise everything to one, that would be amazing. Because I have a statistics here that say that brands maintaining consistent naming and visual identity across every single touch point, they achieve 79.6% higher unaided brand recognition, because we want the brand to be recognizable in the end of the day. The drift part is amazing. So are you focusing on that to represent, you know, the kind of wooden creations you're working with?
Drift is Drift is the jewelry line, and Hitchcrafter and Hitchcrafter is the hitch cover line. So they're both so we were Stonington Designs, right? Then when we added jewelry into the woodworking, the traditional woodworking type things that we did, it needed its own identity, and that's where Drift came. But people knew us as Stonington Designs, and that's where the Drift by Stonington Designs came, knowing that as we evolve as a brand, the by Stonington Designs will not be needed, and Drift will be so it's kind of like a transition piece for the jewelry line.
And what do you think about this? How do you think about this transition? Does it make sense, or is it a little bit confusing, both to you and to a potential buyer that has never encountered you before?
I think that I think that a new buyer, it might be confusing to, or it might be confusing to. An old buyer, like an existing customer, is looking for us as Stonington Designs. That's how they know us. And then they're doing something new. That's what Drift is, the jewelry. And I mean, new now, it's 4 years new, so it's not. No.
Yeah, exactly. How new is the new? And how many, do you know approximately how many new clients you're getting through the website and how many of them are repeat clients?
So I would say about right now, the retail is about 70% existing clients, 30% new clients.
Okay.
And we want that flip. Like it's great to build loyalty and to have something that people want more of. Like I love that and I love our customers, but in order for our brand to grow, we need new customers.
Exactly. So what do you think we should do with the decision whether you're staying Stonington Designs, or are you moving to Drift by Stonington Designs? If we were to start fresh today, right, and focus on the new people that enter through your store, what would you focus on?
Well, I mean, the website is Stonington Designs. The social media is Drift by Stonington Designs. I know, I see what you're saying, the inconsistency. We wrestle with the hitch. I mean, in my ideal world, I would make it into two businesses. One would be Drift and one would be Hitchcrafter. And Stonington Designs was created so that we had a way to do both, knowing that you see how many hats I wear. I can to run then the books for two separate businesses and to run the social for two separate. Like to run everything separate was too much. But every time we think we're going to ditch the hitch covers grab. We're at about 70-30 as far as jewelry to hitch cover sales. So I wrestle with that. And it's clear in how I'm presenting it because I've been wrestling with it since we started the jewelry.
So can you repeat how many sales come through the hitch covers?
30% of our income comes through the hitch covers, and 70%. So it's at a two. It's at a
Like 2/3 is jewelry.
Is jewelry, and so jewelry. And that was immediate, without a whole lot of So the marketing is geared towards the jewelry because we feel like that's where the legs are. We don't have to explain what it is. The hitch covers, it's like, this is a hitch cover, it's a wooden hitch cover, it's an inlay hitch cover, like, oh, hitch cover goes on your car. There's a lot of explanation. And
I have a question. Do you sell them on other mediums such as Amazon or Etsy or eBay, the hitch covers?
No.
Okay, so this is exactly where you should be moving them and get them away from the website as soon as possible. Because a person that has no idea who you are, they're in a completely other part of the US, and they come to you because they see that you're producing these beautiful $400 wedding rings with inlay. But then they go to all of the shop options and then they see you do truck accessories.
It takes credibility away.
It positions you as a person who is great with their craftsmanship, but at the same time, when people wear jewelry, there's so many aspects that come to wearing it, and there's a whole new set of those aspects are dedicated just for wedding rings that they're gonna wear not just whenever they feel, but every single day. They're going to associate that ring with their love story, with their partner, with who they were at the moment when they got married, and of course where they got that from. Now, when it comes to a piece that holds so much significance and importance in your life, would you rather go and buy it from a jewelry store or a place that also sells
other things?
Other things?
Yeah. So you said Amazon, Etsy. What was the third?
Amazon, Etsy, and eBay. Weirdly, do your research and double check. I have a client who was a brick and mortar store focused on diamond jewelry. Interestingly enough, they had an inactive website that we're currently converting into a whole machine. and they were selling on eBay. And I couldn't believe it, but they were selling $4,000, $5,000 rings on eBay, you know? So these are places where you might think, oh, okay, they are slightly obsolete. Do people even buy on eBay anything? Double check in your market research. Would people actually buy the truck accessories exactly there? Because they surely wouldn't look at the jewelry stores.
Right.
So this is one of the most important things that I actually noticed, you know, when I entered the website, is that, okay, separating them is so important. And if you feel like you don't have that ability to maintain two separate businesses, which is a hell of a lot of work, like it's crazy. It would be best that you automated them on 100% on Etsy, 100% on eBay, Amazon, seeing what's, you know, the deal is over there. Because, but I think it would work really, really well for you as well. But on the website, just don't even mention, and fully rebrand to either Drift by Stonington Designs or to simply Stonington Designs. Because we're going to avoid that confusion, and we're going to fully focus on becoming the jewelry store.
Yeah.
Okay, the next thing is one thing that so many brands actually miss out on, and is very surprising because it's one of the highest converting pop-ups that anyone can have. And I'm talking about the email capture pop-ups. When someone goes to your website, and have you noticed when I went to the three brands that you mentioned, I had to close manually 3 pop-ups in every single one of them. 10% discount, 15% discount. I'm like, I don't want the discounts. I want to see the website, right? But they come up. And if a person is interested enough to go to their website, because, for example, they just went and browsed on their Instagram and they saw a piece that they like, they might want to buy something. And if they're already coming with an intention of buying, of course, they're going to use that 10% discount. They might not, but they might. So by doing that pop-up, you not only gather their email as someone who's literally there, coming to your home, ready to buy, like knocking on your door, hi, I'm ready to buy some jewelry, you know? So why wouldn't you take their details, save them, hold them very, very dear to you, and then send them, you know, emails in the future where whenever you actually want to sell something a little bit more, maybe something more personalized, whatever. But now you're missing on this whole opportunity on gathering that data and actually, you know, sending a love letter to the people that are ready to buy. And instead, you're putting so much more effort into attracting kind of everyone out there that is a mix of cold and warm audience, you know? Okay, so we have this one. I have another statistic. I wrote some statistics down just so like my words also have some data behind them, you know? Okay, so exit intent and timed pop-ups, time pop-ups offering a first purchase discount average. Oh my God, that did not make sense what I wrote down. Okay, anyway, the idea is that the conversion rate of adding the pop-up increases to from 9 to 15%. Now, for a jewelry industry, that's huge. Last time, like one brand we discovered had our new social media client, actually, they came in with 5% conversion rates. And that was already like, whoa, that is really good, you know? So considering that we can move that 9 to 15% higher than what it actually is, says a lot. So it takes maybe 40 minutes on Shopify to set it up, make it look pretty, invite people in a way where not only come and, you know, join a newsletter because we're going to be sharing, you know, either our news or things that no one wants to hear about, but it's, oh, here's a discount that you can use literally now. You know, so this is one of the things for sure. Okay, then we have the images. Now the images really reflect the kind of one-man band show that the marketing effort is depending on, right? Like what you said, I'm the photographer, I'm the marketer, I'm the email marketer, I'm an SEO specialist, I write all the blogs. It's crazy, right? So maybe sometimes it's worth to see how you can delegate things, or see what can be done better. So let me share your screen for everyone again. Okay, I think we should see my screen now perfectly. Okay, so for example, you have such a mixed bag of photos. Some of them are 10 out of 10. Some of them are not very 10 out of 10, you know? So ideally what we like is to set a style for you and to really stick with the style. For example, we see these photos, they're beautiful photos with a little bit of editing. They can have more of a brand feel to them. And you're gonna hate me for saying this.
No, no. I want the feedback. So
No, it's very funny because I had so much hate coming towards me when I say this. My core motto is never photograph your jewelry on wood surfaces or pebbles.
And that's all of it is. Yes.
I look at your website, I'm like, okay, you're doing all of this, but then I remembered, wait, this is a huge selling point for you. You know, you create the jewelry out of these materials. So there has to be a better way to represent everything, right? You have a good camera because you shoot with is it DSLR or is it an iPhone?
No, it's an iPhone.
Okay, your iPhone takes some crazy good photos. Now imagine if you can turn, your images from this to something like, where did I put it up? Can you, no. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Just something like this. Now, don't be scared. This is obviously done by professional photographers. These are just ideas, but these are the things that you can actually execute yourself. For example, finding one simple, because again, I want to emphasize, simplicity is key. In photography on Shopify, simplicity is the most important thing when you're not working with professional photographers and when you're a one-man band and when you have already good skills, which you do. Creating every single item shots on something like this with very simple natural light would take your photos to the next level. Buying props that kind of, instead of, placing a product on the wood, buying a wooden props. We see the wooden table, we see a wooden jewelry box with organic linen materials. Maybe that can be another way to display a bracelet. I imagine it resting, for example, in here, shot from far above, further away, with an effect of a little bit of warmth added and a little bit of grain. That would already add so much character to it and so much more artistry. Recently brands have been posting things like this, super, super simple, just a piece in a box and some wrapping paper, and that's it. When you kind of clarify what your style is, for example, here, it's so simple, but that simplicity and the lack of background noise does make a huge difference, right? And so if you want to go,
I was going to say the ones that are on like the ones that are on the wood, for me, it's like, it's a challenge because the products are wood,
Mm-hmm.
So like the one that's all the way to the left here, I did because I wanted to show the materials we were using, like that these are coming, this was about being sustainably sourced.
Yeah.
The ones that are outside, like the ones that are outside are kind of how I cued it into nature, but but I've been playing, like when we get to the Instagram, I've been playing with just some white backgrounds and some light backgrounds and just like one little piece of wood or one little seashell that it's resting on. You're saying that that's the direction I should be going in and then make them consistent.
Exactly. Finding what you can do well in as simple manner as possible. You understand light. You need some direct sunlight to really shine on your bracelets, a minimal background, and the same angles for every single shot. Consistency is key everywhere, because imagine how much brain space it costs you every single time you need to take a photo to go like, oh, what do I do? What props do I use? And then you end up actually grabbing whatever kind of in line with the color palettes and the nature's aesthetic there is around you. And then sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it's a waste of time. So ideally, as a person who does everything herself and wants to optimize her time as much as possible, you want to give yourself guidelines. You know, I want my content to be, every single bracelet to be shot on someone's hand in this exact angle, in this exact position, with natural light coming from this angle, with a foam board to reflect the light coming from here, because I know that this 100% works. Another image, you know, something on a driftwood, every single bracelet like that, maybe some variations, maybe you want to hang them off the driftwood, doesn't matter, and one in a box. And every single time a jewelry piece comes out, or, you know, you have a new release coming out, as an automatic mode, you just go do this, that. And then if you have time and if you feel creative and if you actually then, you know, feel the actual wanting to create something more interesting, that's when you go and do all of the other more intricate things. But for things like the website and Instagram, that consistency is so important, you know? And all of those images, like, they can be achieved in, okay, this is not natural light. All of the other ones can be done with full-on natural light, no professional equipment needed.
Yeah, I have a bay window that I have set up with driftwood, and it's just always set up, and I bring what I have there, and that's the ones if the rings are on, it's on. I just have this, I have a stump, and I have the wooden, you know, we make our own wooden boxes, so that's, you know, it's easy for me to photograph them in the wooden box, so.
100%. And yeah, exactly. Photographing them in a wooden box is a great example. Now, regarding the menu, one of the things I realized, you know, you go into the store and you have a lot. You have home, shop, work with us, out, media, contact, wholesale, my wish list. My wish list here looks a little bit not necessarily used, because if you add something to a basket, you just see it right here automatically, you know? So what is the wish list for exactly?
The wish list is a plugin that helps the customer be able to forward something that they've favorited to someone that might buy it for them.
Okay, so we go, for example, to bestsellers, and then where do we add to the wish list? Add to cart, add to cart.
No, it should be on the product page.
You know, but that's the thing. That's one thing
Yeah.
worth looking into, because the plugin is not fully functioning. And I think people have kind of moved away from my wish list items. I've seen brands who have tried it. They've all taken it down. I don't think it has worked well enough in the jewelry industry at this point.
Yeah. On the menu, I've got plans for it. So so the timing on this was really great, because I've got like a whole list of things that I was already planning on doing in streamlining things and making the customer experience less complicated. And one of the things I had on my list was to take the wish list and just move it under shop, or to get it completely off. Same thing with some of the redundancies on here and the way that they're grouped. So I'm very curious.
Exactly. So my wish list, I recommend just taking it off. Then we have the wholesale, media, and work with us tabs. Usually brands have these in the footer. This is where they belong. Wholesale is super important. You're already going to trade shows, so people that you meet know that you do wholesale. The likelihood of someone interested to stock your items and wandering to your website and expecting to see a wholesale button here is extremely low. Okay. Usually all the brands have it at the bottom, and if anything, they would immediately probably scroll down to the bottom and without finding it, be disappointed and go away. So these three sections should go down. And
wholesale, contact, and work with us.
So wholesale, media, and work with us. Contact can go down as well, to be honest, because how often do people actually contact you? And it's pretty natural to look for contacts down here as well. Now, when it comes to the shopping, again, the navigational parts, it's fantastic that you have so much happening here for the Google and for SEO. This is great. Any brands that have, you know, very little very little going on, they should really think about changing that. Because if we go to Jean Doucet, for example, he's one of my favorite ones when it comes to menu design. You go to engagement jewelry, right? Can you see my screen okay?
Mm-hmm.
They have engagement rings here, wedding bands here, and then by collection. Then you go to the jewelry. Again, they have by category wedding bands, again repeating by collection. Not because people can't go here and find the items by collection, or or here. It's everything is just to kind of double down on the backlinks for the SEO performance.
Mm-hmm.
So here it's amazing what you have on the menu. What I would recommend, definitely doing just one jewelry type under bracelets. Under bracelets. Unless you want to do like a toggle where you click bracelets and then it goes to bangles, clasps, cuffs. But in reality, there has to be a place where all of them are in one spot. Ideally, what you want to do, and very randomly also, we have the stone bead bracelets at the very bottom. So you have bracelets, 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 different sections, and then bracelets again. Why don't we put them all in together? Now, once you remove some of those, it's going to look empty. What you want to do is to have home, shop, and immediately here have bracelets, rings, necklaces, and earrings immediately in the menu bar, so that people that go to your website, they can go and find exactly what they're looking within a second. I came here for earrings. This is exactly what I'm going to click. And the good part is that the menu is at a perfect eye level for them to see it immediately without even having to scroll down the main website.
So each one its own header on the top. Yeah.
Yeah, like
The menu.
yeah. So home, shop,
shop.
bracelets, rings, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, you want wedding rings, because do you do normal rings as well, or is it just wedding rings?
No, we do normal rings as well.
So it would be great for you to separate them for SEO purposes as well. Wedding rings, everyday rings. Okay, moving forward, I think we're almost done with the website. I'm gonna stop sharing. But one thing I wanted to say, that you're a great example of a blog writer. And I saw your blogs come out every few days, and you started doing that very recently, right?
Yes, for SEO, because I hadn't looked, and so I got some that I hired somebody to give me some guidance on what I needed to be doing for SEO, and because I don't have that, I don't have that. So that's why the changes are coming. Changes are coming. So this is awesome timing for me.
Fantastic. Well, exactly. So blogs, for anyone who is here, blogs are not, and again, I had a meeting about a collection launch yesterday with a client, and I was like, okay, so we need to create at least 5 blog posts about, the segments of the collection. And she was like, 5 blog posts, but why? People are not going to read them. And I was like, blogs are not there for anyone to read them.
No, they're for SEO.
No, when was the last time you actually went and read a blog? Like, for me, sometimes I read it from a very valid sources, not from brands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Blogs are only there to boost SEO and now GEO. So it's very good you had some guidance for that, because what you probably received as well is your keyword strategy. Now, how do you actually represent your business in the blogs? Because just writing, hi, we create beautiful jewelry, and just smashing the keywords in, no matter what, it doesn't work. There has to be a header system. There has to be a body system. The way that they structure, the alt text that you put to the images, right? Like, you're nodding your head, like you know exactly how much detail goes into creating a blog post. But again, it's not for reading. It is for reading, but it's for the engine.
It's funny because I pushed back. I was like, you're telling me what you want me to do is so long. It's so long. And they're like, yes, it's great. You have a lot to say. We want them long. Go, like, that's what you would need to be doing. So
100%.
So it's good to get another validation on that, because I was like, these are really wrong.
No, the people who recommended this to you know exactly what they're talking about. And in the end of the day, I forgot what I wanted to say. Make sure that you don't spend too much time on that. Train AI engines. Make sure you have.
Like
amazing.
I talk and record it and transcribe it. Like that's my easy way. That was always a tactic that I used with my coaching clients. And I was like, don't sit at a blank page. I'll put
Exactly.
5 words on a page and then I just talk about them. And then I take them and I edit them down.
That's actually such a good strategy. I like it.
And now it's easy to do.
Michelle, do you use Claude?
I don't use Claude, but I use AI. I use AI.
ChatGPT?
I use ChatGPT.
Okay, my recommendation, a very sincere one that comes from me personally and from my friend circle. If you still have ChatGPT, ditch it. Transfer all the data to Claude. Claude has is called CLAUDE.ai. It's like ChatGPT on steroids. They don't sell your data to the government, which ChatGPT has recently been claimed to sign that contract.
No.
And also Claude has a very beautiful organic function where they guide you through how to actually move everything from ChatGPT to Claude, so you don't lose any information.
Oh, fantastic. Right? Yeah.
When it comes to blog writing, Claude can write blogs for you. And this is what we've been implementing very, very strongly as well. Because if you provide it with all the essential information about who you are, who you're speaking to, what audience you're trying to attract, in what parts of America or the world, upload all the keyword strategy in there and tell it, okay, you can even add your transcript. Look, this is what I've created. Just make it SEO optimized and make sure that, the strategy that's been provided to me by, whoever kind of, educated you about the blog posts is applied. And that's it. And it creates a fully SEO optimized thing that you copy and paste into your website, into the blog. If you're not using Claude, this is your sign.
I've got big stars next to this on my notes.
Amazing. I'm just preaching it to everyone, because it's a whole new world.
And I remember you talking about it in the workshop that I watched. So I had already written a little note to myself on that.
For people who run businesses and wear many hats, it's the most optimal thing to do, because you can also create your own agents, which to me, even it still sounds like a whole new world. But I have friends who run their advertising companies without employees. It's literally just them and multiple AI agents that they've created to do different things. They kind of create the brain around thinking what, the perfect employee of, for their business is in that position. So one person is creating content, another person is creating blog posts, another person is doing cold outreach, third person is, I don't know, just like renaming all the images that are connected to Google Drive, because that's what you can do with it. You can literally give it access to your Google Drive, and it does anything you want with any folders that you give it access to whilst you, have your dinner, for example, which is great. Okay, moving on, because I'm cautious of the time as well. What we have, customer reviews. Customer reviews for a business such as yours with such a big founder presence are absolutely essential. And I'm sure because you're such a community-based person, right? You have some beautiful people around you. And if you ask every single one of them to, go and leave a review, either on Trustpilot or on the website, once you integrate the tool there, you already have this trustability, trustability base, because at the moment there's no signs that people have purchased and people have enjoyed, So what we want to do is, I have it written down here. You can do it very easily on Shopify. You can use plugins such as Judge.me, or there's an Okendo. I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, we have just recently put in Judge Me, so they send the email right out to the customer after they've purchased, and the customer then puts a review in. So that's slowly,
exactly,
slowly moving itself.
That's really good. And again, just a number to say that I'm not pulling this out of the hat while you need the reviews, is that an average conversion uplift from adding reviews reaches 380% per business, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Let me see what I might have not mentioned. Okay, we have mentioned this. Packaging. It would be great to see how the jewelry comes in package. Again, is applied to 90% of businesses that show the product, but not how it comes packaged in.
Okay, we've got beautiful packaging, so we could definitely do that.
Exactly. Because, for example, for your rings, you have the beautiful wooden boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for the bracelets, I wasn't sure because I saw a couple of different images. I saw a black, like card box, and then I was like, surely you have, you know, a wooden box as well for the bracelets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it would be very interesting to know. Now, one insight I would like to share that blew my mind. We've recently done market research for a new social media client. And after analyzing their sales data, we found out that, and they make thousands of sales every month, that their top 3 most sold product was an upgrade to a luxury box. Yes, I raised my eyebrows as well. There are hundreds of SKUs on the website. The top 3 most bought one was the packaging.
So we could do the wooden box for the bracelets because the rings are at a price point where it comes right with the ring. But the bracelets we could offer it in the regular fashion in the branded boxes, exactly. But then offer a luxury wooden box as an upsell. Yeah,
exactly.
That's brilliant. Yeah,
exactly. Okay, so we have that, and then I have a note about alt text in the main listing images. At the moment, for example, because a lot of the images are of bracelets in a bowl, and one of the alt texts for them was literally saying bracelets in a bowl with sand and shells, which SEO-wise, it makes sense, right? Because Google understands what exactly is in the image, and that is the purpose of alt text, right? To tell Google what exactly is being depicted. Is that correct? You kind of like looked like...
Yes. No, I'm reading.
And the missed SEO opportunity is that you can rephrase it, making it even stronger for SEO. So instead of saying bracelets in a bowl with sand and shells, say handcrafted walnut wood cuff bracelet by Stonington Designs, made in Connecticut, USA, placed in a bowl with sand and shells. Now, is the same sentence in which you plugged in materials, you plugged in your brand's name and your location. So what Google is going to do, they're going to look at the image. Yes, that's true. It is bracelets in a bowl with sand and shells. Yes, okay, agree. So anything else that's being said that is kind of like 50-50, I can't confirm it if it's bracelets by Stonington Designs. I automatically confirm it because everything else seems to be correct, right?
Yep.
So that's an interesting one.
Another fabulously brilliant insight.
And finally, we have the keyword opportunities for your alt text and copy and blog. So that is just using more specific wordings and long tail keywords. For example, military spouse handmade jewelry, or reclaimed wood jewelry USA, or wood wedding bands handmade. Constantly used across the alt text, image names, your blogs, you know, whatever the keywords you can even imagine. Or one thing that brands don't think about a lot is the long tail keywords. For example, what should literally one keyword sentence being best gift for my military husband? Or what should I gift my military husband for Valentine's Day? Now you can use tools such as SEMrush or Google Trends or again AI to understand what keywords would be, you know, most useful for your business. But a lot of the time people forget about them. I forget about them for our own company, you know. I'm always like, yeah, jewelry photography, jewelry branding. And I'm like, wait, no, that's not what all people search for. People search how to photograph jewelry at home. You know,
Mm-hmm.
People search for those things.
So the long tail, where do you put that you're saying in the alt text?
The long ones are best in blogs.
And blogs. Okay.
Exactly. And this is exactly, that should be the blog post name. Top 5 best gifts for military husbands for Christmas. Something as specific, as niche as possible, that most likely someone is out there Googling it, you know? But again, back it up with the data and the research, and there's a lot of different softwares for doing that. Okay, and finally, I wanted to mention, I'm gonna share my screen, the super tiny bits. Okay, I go window just to make sure that it doesn't disconnect. Okay, can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, if we go, for example, to clasp bracelet, no, let's go to the rings. We have rings. Okay, and here we see, this is great. We see, you know, the photo of the jewelry box. Ideally, I would want something cleaner. You know, the background is a little bit messy at the moment. We definitely have the America thing going. We have the rings here. I would like to see more clear image, a close-up of someone wearing it, because it's at a price point of $400. Every single image should convince a person to buy it. Because at the moment, for example, the questions that arise for me are, okay, I see what the ring looks like here. I see what the ring looks like here. But why does this image, are those the two separate rings? Is that one ring stacked with another one? Because it looks much thicker for me.
It's a different ring. So I don't know why, I don't know why we grabbed that one. I don't know why that one was grabbed for that. So
just double checking,
product.
you know,
no, we have a double channel ring. We have a latitude ring that's a double channel. That's what's on that hand right now.
Okay, got it. And okay, I think I'm gonna finish here. I think also no rounded corners. This is, everyone's moving straight to very simple lines. So try to keep, you know, the images as simple as possible. Okay, I think I'm running out of time a little bit. I promise that I'm gonna be here until like 5:30. So let's go through your Instagram. Good news, I have less notes on your Instagram because, I think, you know, the website is the most important thing in the world, because no matter how much traffic you move to your website from Instagram or from advertising, if the website is not in place, if it has bottlenecks that stop people from actually making a purchase, everything that you're doing for the newsletter and for Instagram is a waste of your time. Website is the most important thing to have solved. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we need to see more of you guys. Those
are the ones that are working on.
This makes me so happy seeing it. You're smiling, you're both looking beautiful. You know, we see the symbiosis of, you know, husband and wife working together and doing these things together is so, so nice. So I don't know, more pictures of you two, more pictures of just you, you know, because at the moment we have a lot of iPhone content. Well, it's pretty much iPhone based, the whole feed, right? It would be so nice to see.
Yes, the photos taken from the iPhone,
And it would be so nice to see more of that, you know, professional setting in here. Okay, so content pillars. Have you clarified what your content pillars are and when you are posting what?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
You know, yes.
How much do you follow them?
I mean, I make my calendar out. I build it off of the pillars, you know. I'm pretty regimented with it, but then I'll grab, so like I had a meeting with Major League Baseball to do some custom work out of wood and things from different stadiums. Mm-hmm. And when I looked at my feet, I had that 2 days ago. When I looked at my feet, I was like, oh crap, I don't have, the jewelry's old unisex. But this spring, we really were leaning into this bloom. I was leaning into the bloom that it's a new bracelet. So it's color. And I was resistant to that for a long time. But then I knew I had this meeting. So I was like, I just need to put some things up. Like I need to put some things up that have men's jewelry in it. And so I did the groomsmen, So every now and then I have a scenario where I just go rogue out of my pillars and out of my order, and I just throw a couple of extra things
You
in.
have to. Rules are there to be broken sometimes,
Yeah.
you know? And it's very good to actually understand, because at the moment looking at your feed, is it men? It's, for me, it's obvious it's a unisex jewelry. Men are a very difficult audience to buy for, because remember, men, there was a very interesting, completely non-related study where some cocktail bar realized that all the women that come through the door, they buy cocktails. All the men that come through the door buy beer. Now, it's problematic because you can sell a cocktail for $15 and the beer is like, what, 3, 4, 5? Like, we need to upscale the sales for that. Why are men not buying cocktails? So what they've done, they've changed the menus in a way where when you see what cocktail it is, next to the name, it shows an icon of a glass in which the cocktail is going to come into, because they found out that men do not want to drink some woo-woo
A girly drink.
from a girly glass, right? And so they made sure that, you know, it's visible what it looks like, and the cocktail sales increased like 3 times for the men's category, because men were like, okay, this is clearly a cocktail I can drink, therefore I'm going to order it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with the showing the jewelry not only on a woman's hands. It's so important to show it on the men's as well.
And that's, I've been, you know, it's easy enough for me to grab things, you know, sporadically on a woman's hand, and I have to really like torture the men to get them on the men's. I'm working on it. I mean, I've got lots of really happy customers that are men that have bought the jewelry for a long time. And they, I've got some that are willing to play with me and some that are not.
I mean, this is what the husband is for, you know? Just
I know, he's not my most willing. He was like, you see,
we gave vows.
Yes, my sons need to play more. I've grown, so, you know, I have 40-year-old sons, so it's
exactly.
I need to bribe them with food, so. But we are working on that, because I do think that's the piece for me that's missing in the website and in the Instagram feed, is it on more men. And I'll have like, it ebbs and flows where the focusing is. I've been leaning heavy into like the slow crafted, handmade. That's every week there's something on that. Every week there's something on the military, like whose hands are making it, the military spouse program, and then product shots that are showing new things that are happening. And then something that's relevant to whatever's happening, Easter or like whatever.
100%. And I love, for example, you know, these ones. Oh, I have this. You know, the from wood to bracelets, or I love the story that you've done here. Now, this I imagine would have a lot of potential, because her husband is thousands of miles away serving on a submarine. Now, this is the niche I was talking about when it comes to the almost long tail keywords, you know, because you are not targeting everyone. You're literally talking to a person that relates to this woman whose husband is serving thousands of miles away. And you know how many people like that are in America, and they, in my full honesty, you know, your business is the first one that I've ever encountered that actually kind of celebrates, you know, not even necessarily the military men, but their wives.
No, the women who are holding it all together behind and don't get any glory, don't get any. So is the picture of the double, so scroll down a little bit further. So is this one with the double bracelet on the wood, that one, and the other one, the one right next to it, are those more of what you're talking about, like lean more into the products, photography like that?
Yes, they're definitely more what I'm talking about.
They're simpler and they're...
Yes. 2 things. You really need to understand what angles you want to keep up with and how to manage, because these are taken with the artificial lights. Or not?
Those are.
Yeah. Exactly. So first rule is to never upload photos in this format on Instagram and on the website. I think you haven't made that mistake. That is very common where people just upload all the random, formats of photos on the website listing. Now, Instagram has a 4x5 format. This is the most functional for the phone. So people find it easier to scroll. So every single photo that you upload on here should be cropped 4x5. So it would be kind of like
So
not
this
as
one was not cropped 4x5. No, because there's black on the bottom.
exactly. So you see how inconsistent, the feed is when the photos and the videos, I think this is 4x5, how everything is different format and it's a little bit hard to watch, and consume that content if I want to scroll your feed this way. But in reality, if you could take an image like this, but with a camera and not professional lighting, but that one light, I think that would be great because it's simple. There's not much happening in the background. These images, for example, are a little bit dark. They could be lightened up. There's a lot of contrast and depth in here. So I would make them a little bit lighter. But again, everything comes to setting your visual aesthetic and understanding what my feed can look like. Because if you feel like you either don't have time to maintain this or this requires too much effort, it might be best to just focus on, for example, group shots like this. And another thing I want to emphasize, your group shots, like keep on focusing on them because they're great. For example, I had a note that this photo is fantastic, cropped in 4x5 is, even though it has a pebble and the wood, which I usually say complete no to, this works because of the light. Now you see such beautiful lights behind the bracelets. There's a different kind of depth than what we see here. Here they lack soul a little bit. They
100%. No, I agree with you 100%. Those I was kind of playing around. These ones that I take, so if you go to the top of the feed, the one that's next to my face, before this one. No, the one with the ring. No, the one with the ring. And you go to the next picture, you start like these are again, they're all done in this one space that I know my light is interesting. I can hang things to diffuse, to flip the sunlight with, and I have it all set up with all different types of driftwood that I can then hang on and lean on. And so it makes it simple, like what you said. Like I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm going back to the same spot that I know at this time of day the light works. And
I mean, this is the spot where I would be taking all the product photos at as well. You have the light, is beautiful. It has so much more soul than, for example, these images. Although this would perform on ads amazingly. So, but for Instagram, I would probably focus more on this, and that can also go on the website. So we have this carousels. Two final notes. One note is the text. At the moment, it's quite scattered. We have, for the guy you love, just a simple text here. Here we have a text with two fonts, like one bold and then the white background. Then we have simple text here again, then different text here. Then we have graphics with the text. Then we have text here and text here. It's a lot of inconsistent kind of graphic elements, if you know what I mean. Ideally, you set something just once, for example, this, and stick with it through every single post that you have.
Do you have a preference on what you like the best, what you think projects us the best as far as the choices? Because I've been trying to test things, like to see where, I've been trying to test things.
For me, the one that I resonate with the most personally is a simple plain background with text on. So either this, or I try to avoid the kind of split screen of just the color and the text and the photo. It's quite tiring when you look at the whole feed as a whole. But just a simple text or kind of creating.
But if I'm doing text over a photograph, like if I've been consistent with when I have something to announce. The fonts are all the same. It's a template that I did so that I don't mess myself up on the blank pages for the blogs, you know, to link back to the blogs or to announce a collaboration. But when you've got a photograph and then you want to put a hook over it, how do you, like, do you have a preference, or does it?
It really depends on the branding. But for example, from what I see now, I would do a photo. For example, here, taking away the blue background and making a photo expanded, like zoomed in quite a lot, where not the photo is the center of attention, but the text, right? And this is where you need to decide to either have a transparent, for example, block here, where you still see that. No, transparent wouldn't work that much. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you right now, to be honest.
Okay.
Because it depends on how busy the photos are.
Right, and that's been the hard part. And like the ones that are of any of the military spouses, like for their own protection, we don't show their faces. Like, so sometimes the block is to be able
to cover them up.
Show the act of what they're weaving, but put the title over where their face is.
Exactly. I mean, for example, I love this, where the composition is strong enough, like, to have space for the text. I love that. And for that, you don't need, you know, the background thing. And for covering their faces, probably you'll want to film in a way where their faces are not there, or zoom in enough, you know, for that.
Crop it out. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so these are all my notes, 1 hour and 20 minutes worth of
thank you
information. We have exactly 10 minutes to go through any questions that you might have. So Michelle, I'm going to leave this the stage for you first, and then if anyone else has any questions, drop them in the comments. But yeah, we have 10 minutes because I have a meeting exactly then.
No, I've been asking my questions as I've gone along, and I appreciate you letting me interrupt you and ask them. I think that this question on the format of consistency for the fonts and how I'm doing it has been something that I've been struggling with, but we've kind of fully explored that. So,
I mean, I understand you're testing, but what do you resonate with the most at this point?
The one that you said, the one that had the Made Create collective, like choosing a photograph that has a quiet spot on it that I could put text versus putting a box over it. It doesn't feel as high end to me as what I think my brand is.
I completely agree. It looks more TikTok-y or like really, you know?
Right.
Exactly. Okay, amazing. So how are you feeling after all this feedback? What I'm going to do, I'm going to just summarize everything and create a to-do list for you that I can share, because there's a lot of information.
That was a lot of information. I'm like writing like a crazy person, but yes, thank you. I think this is so unbelievably valuable. Like,
yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, this is a fabulous thing. And I think that anybody that's considering working with you to have this done should do it without reservation. Like, I'm serious. You are a wealth of information. You've got great insight and you've got wonderful instinct. And that combination isn't always there, right?
It's 8 years of only looking at jewelry brands.
Right. So
amazing.
Well, no, you've given me some great confirmation of things that I was already leaning towards doing, and some great ideas on new things that hadn't occurred to me. And I feel very grateful for having won this.
Amazing. I'm so happy you joined. And what is the first thing that you're going to start doing immediately, like out of everything?
So out of everything, the email pop-up capture, that's that's got big stars on it. The moving from ChatGPT to Claude, my things that I have stars on them, which means do this right away. And then the showing the packaging and adding an upgrade like a sales, an upsell selection for the wooden boxes for the bracelets. Those three things I think I can get implemented in the next week. And I'm like a taskmaster with myself.
Oh my goodness, I don't know how you do it.
Well, I like to pardon my French, I like to get shit done.
Yes, exactly. You're kind of like coaching yourself into it. Cheryl is asking, how do I know if keywords will perform well? Well, first of all, the most important thing is that you connect your Google Analytics, your G4 with your Shopify account. So you're able to track the performance, the SEO performance of your online store. This is something that you should look back into every single month, because you're going to start putting things in, and it takes a long time for SEO to start being, active. So for you to start ranking higher and higher and higher on Google, obviously depending on what niche you are, because for example, for Michelle, you have such a niche business. Ranking high for you is going to be 10 times faster than for someone who has a diamond engagement ring brand, because the market has so many companies like that, and companies that have very strong SEOs, in fact, in that niche. So it completely depends on the business, but it's just making an effort and seeing if it worked. And there's a beautiful SEO analytics section in Shopify that can allow you to do that without paying extra for any, things like SEMrush, for example, or Ahrefs, or more kind of detailed and data-driven softwares. So yeah, just test and go and see how it works, and see it is going to improve. It's impossible that not working on it is, it is going to keep you in the same place. It's literally impossible. So you already doing something with the keywords and with the SEO management is already putting you one step ahead of people who are not doing it. So, it's really awesome. Amazing. I think we're done. Thank you so much for connecting. I'm so happy to have done this. It has refreshed my memory on so many things as well. And yeah, I can't wait to see when you kind of apply everything, and very interested to hear, please share in the next few months, how it's been, what was the easiest thing, what was the hardest thing, and if you've seen any improvements in general.
And if there's anything that you need, you know how to get me, because I'm part of your membership.
Yes.
So,
amazing.
Or if there's anyone that, any way I can help with that, with anything that you're doing.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We're just testing, to be honest, because we do webinars quite a lot. And then I noticed myself, they just get lost. They like some are on YouTube, some were like as a part of the courses. I'm like, well, I kind of want one place where, people can connect to. Exactly, because I love doing them as well. It's not just about, let's kind of like do it. I'm learning so much whilst doing them. I'm actually like, because even, with every client onboarded, I go through data, I do go through different market analysis, and there's so much information that, keeps on stocking up and piling up. And if I don't do those webinars, I forget about it. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to kind of like, okay, get a topic, channel everything I know in that topic, and then leave it, and then move to the next thing.
So I have a weird question. Can you let me hear the correct pronunciation of your name?
Oh, goodness. Yes. It's Chocianaite. Chocianaite. Yes.
Okay.
It's a very strange one. Apparently a drunk priest rewrote it after war for my granddad, and he misspelled it completely. So okay, fantastic. Right, have a lovely day, Michelle.
All right, you too.
Let's crack on, and we'll speak soon.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Bye.